Okay, this one is a follow-up to the video I just put out, Dismantling Feminism. I'm going to tell a story. And just follow up on some ideas, because it wasn't a perfect video. Yeah, give me 1 second. Starting this one off with one of these. So, putting out these types of videos actually really stresses me out. It's hard for me to describe exactly how and why I get so stressed out by it. But I really do. When I put up the ones that I know are controversial, it causes a lot of stress. It's funny, I put it up. And it's an hour-long video. Bringing Dusty along today. Come on, buddy. Anyway, I put this video up, and it's an hour long, and within half an hour, I lost a subscriber, so probably somebody who didn't like what I was saying. So, I've had relationships with women, and I had one very serious one time that lasted about 4 years. We lived together. She went on to become the CTO of a startup company shortly after we broke up. This was several years ago. She was very intelligent, I thought, at least. Smarter than me, perhaps, that's what she would say. I might agree with her on that. But that's not why we broke up. But, yeah, we saw eye to eye on everything. Everything. She would agree with everything that I said in that video. And, we haven't talked in quite a while, but I assume she's still running the engineering department of that company. So I'm not a stranger to intelligent women, okay? I don't think I'm a stranger to women at all. I think I know a thing or two. I'm not socially blind to things, despite being the video of the guy in the woods, despite being a video blog of, just despite being the character of this guy in the woods out here, right? Despite this being my background and me moving out to North Carolina, I have spent most of my life being almost, you could say, extremely extroverted. All of the situations I've ever been in, as far as I can remember back into my childhood, when I was in 4th grade, I was like a very extroverted person. When I was in high school, pretty much the same, although more, teenager-ish. And then in college, I feel like I have references for this one. I've been around a lot of people a lot of times in a lot of situations. This is not, whatever my stance is not born of ignorance, I think. I don't know how to prove that. I have references. I'm not, what should I do? Invite him on the channel? Actually, that might not be a bad idea. I wonder who I could rope into this. See, I have friends. I could just call friends up put them on this channel, and I could be like, hey, remember that time I threw that party? Like, for the 100th time? You know, remember that time I can't... Now I just sound like I'm being, now I'm just being, I don't know what I'm talking about right now. What I'm trying to say here is that if I was ever disrespectful or sexist or blocking or somehow impeding or somehow antagonistic to women at any point, I don't know when that was. I really don't. I really don't. I don't think I ever was. I think I've said this in other videos. I used to consider myself absolutely a feminist. I used to just say that. You know, I used to be like, yeah, I'm a feminist. Yeah, all of the things. I agree with all the things. Yes, down with patriarchy, all of it. I really believed it. I did. I really believed it. I was deep in the sauce, you know? I was deep in it. And you know what? What's funny? You know what's funny is it really made me more likely to get laid in certain social environments. Now that I look backwards, that is true. Was that the reason I said those things? At the time? No. That's what I would have told you at the time. But now when I look backwards and I wonder, why was I doing and saying these things? What really was my motivation for identifying as a male feminist? If I had told you at the time that I was doing it because of liberalism and because of progressive values, that's absolutely what I would have told you. And I would have been telling you the truth, at least at the time. You know, I would have thought I was telling you the truth. What would have been my motivations? Truly, I would have said, yeah, this is the right thing to do. I would have truly believed the right thing to do is to identify as a feminist. That's what I would have said. I would have always said that. Probably from as early as you possibly could have asked me that question. I don't know. I mean, I remember not really thinking about it, right? I never really took a position on it. I never really thought about it too much until it started just being a thing that started occurring in society. I started hearing the word feminism a lot at some point. I don't know. Feels like around the time when I went to college, honestly. It feels like the time from like 18 to 22, right? That, to me, is when that word started hitting me more than in high school. But to be fair, I went to an unusual high school. Other people my age probably heard that word a lot in high school. I happen to not hear that a lot in high school. But anyway, my point is yeah, as far back as the question would have been asked, whenever the first time I was presented with the question, are you a feminist? I would have said yes. I would have, for sure, 100%. I would have believed in it. I would have given you reasons why. I would have said all of the same reasons that you've probably heard before. It's pretty clear to me that whatever it is that makes a brain capable of creating models of the universe and solving problems and all this stuff is present in all of the human race, as far as I can tell. No matter where you're from, no matter, you know, who you are, unless you have a brain injury or something, you probably are capable of pretty much all of the same things I'm capable of. That's what I believe. And we can sit here and argue all day about what intelligence actually is or what it measures. There's literally like 1,000 books trying to answer the question, what is intelligence, right? If you have a one-sentence answer to that, you win. You have the golden prize. You win all of the things, right? There's 1,000 different answers on what is intelligence. How do you measure it, right? So, and what else? Wow, you know, I'm stressed out about this video that I just put out. I get very stressed about these things. Very stressed. Because I know, I've been in these places, I've been in the social circles, I've talked to all the people. I know that what I'm saying, is something they will disagree with. I know that I've been in places where I could be in a room filled with people, and if I were to say the words that I said in episode 97 that I just put out a few hours ago, if I were to say those words out loud in a room, it would result in everybody in the room yelling at me. Everybody in the room would be yelling at me, or at least saying nothing while they watch everybody else yell at me, right? This has happened to me a lot of times in my life for a lot of different reasons, but it's always over deep arguments about deep subjects, usually about God or abortion or feminism or climate change or racism. It's always about these things where everybody in the I'm getting worked up. Everybody in the room just will team up on the one person who disagrees, and then nobody else will say anything. Everybody else who might agree with me stays quiet, or they might lift one finger, but more often than not, it's everybody in the room versus Matt Denny. More often than not. That has been my experience many times. I've had this experience. I have references for this one too, if you want them. Hey, remember that one time everybody's yelling at me? Yes, this has happened to me a lot of times because I say disagreeable things that I believe are true, but for some reason, a lot of people don't believe they're true, and not only do they not believe that I am wrong, they believe I am evil and wrong. That's what makes this so annoying. When you're arguing with Christians about God not existing, they think you're evil. They're like, how can a godless man, how do you have morals, That's the question. If you're an atheist, do you know the number of times in my life that I've had people truly concerned about me going to hell, or truly concerned about me making wise decisions because I told them I was an atheist? That has happened to me so many times. So many times. How can you possibly live a good life? How can you possibly be a moral person? How can you possibly be virtuous without believing in God? And I made all of the arguments. The arguments, right? If you're listening to me, you're probably the type of person that knows the arguments for why you don't really need the sky god, or you don't need a Bible to keep you being a good person, or to keep you happy, or to keep you on the right track in life, right? The same exact energy, that same... I'm going off right now. That same exact energy is exactly the energy that I feel when I say something like, hey, maybe systemic racism isn't what you think it is. Hey, maybe this whole feminist goal of the 50-50 split is not the way, right? I say these things, and people attack me as if I told them God was not real. It's the same exact reaction. Experientially, socially, emotionally, it's what it is. And I've experienced both of them, and it feels exactly the same. It comes from the same types of people, right? There's some kind of characteristic of a person that loves to wield a thing, like an idea, and then you disguise it as compassion in some way, or disguise it as righteousness. It's disguised as if it is good. And they believe it. They really believe it. They do. They really, really believe it. They believe in stopping the patriarchy. They believe in changing systemic racism. They believe in God the same way. It's the same thing. That's what this is. That's what it feels like to argue with these people. That's why it stresses me out so much to put out episode 97. It stresses me out. I put that video up, and all I can do is think about that video. That's all I do. I just stare at it. I'm like, what's going to happen? What's going to happen? What's going to happen? Because I know people are going to listen to the video, and I know they're going to get to the spot where I say the thing that triggers that reaction, and now not only am I wrong, I'm also evil, or possibly going to hell, or possibly creating hell, right? If I say systemic racism isn't real, I'm helping drag us to hell, right? That's how serious this is. It's not just, oh, he's wrong about a thing. It's not like, oh, this guy's out here having incorrect facts, right? It's no, this person is actually part of the enemy now. Like, this person is immoral and must be stopped, must be destroyed. That's the feeling. So it's starting to rain. What a perfect way to... I'm okay with this. What do they call this in what's the word for you when you set the mood using the weather or some sort of background in a scene? There's a word for this in literature, in literary, you know, when they're having the final sword fight at the end of the movie and then the thunderstorms in the background. Can you imagine a movie where there's the final sword fight between the good guy and the bad guy? Or whatever. And then it's just a beautiful sunny day. They're just like at the top of the castle having their final sword fight. The final battle, the final shootout, the final showdown, you know, the final fight, the climax. And instead of a storm in the background, it's just like a beautiful sunny day and like there's butterflies and... No, it's good that it's raining right now. You can't really tell on the camera though. You might be able to hear it. You might be able to hear it. Anyway, this channel is what I'm doing at this very moment is attempting to humanize myself to you, whoever you are listening to me. Hopefully you're one of these religious people. Hopefully you're one of these, I mean, I don't know, not that the person listening to this is religious, but hopefully that person that gets that religious reaction, I don't know what else to call it, and I'm sorry that if it's offensive but to say that, but a lot of the responses to systemic racism and to feminism and patriarchy and these things, once I touch on these subjects, I'm now reaching into the religious realm for some people, right? This is the realm where God sits, and it's the realm where these other things sit, and it triggers the same emotional reaction when I talk about it to people. So, if you're one of those people that got that emotional reaction triggered, already I know one, probably, I mean, they just unsubscribed, maybe they simply disagree with me, who am I to say? You know, I could have just said something, maybe they just got bored, could have unsubscribed for anything, but I know that there are thousands of people out there who could listen to the video that I put up and quickly find a disagreement with me, right? And if I was in the room with them, it would quickly not just be an argument about, it wouldn't just be a regular conversation. It would be intense very quickly, because I'm not going to say the thing they want me to say, right? I'm going to say, nope, the goal of achieving a 50-50 distribution in chess is it's unreachable. It's unrealistic. It will not happen. You know, is that what I want? No, I don't even think you should think it's a problem. That's my stance. It's just not an issue, okay? It's not an issue. There's other things. There's other things that we can be talking about. Women can contribute a billion different ways to society. Why are we measuring it in the top 10 of things, right? Like, why do we look at it as if, oh, the top 10 chess players are all men. This is the patriarchy, right? Like, why call it evil? You could call it the patriarchy, just fine, it's not evil. You want to be the best chess player? Go be the best chess player. Any girl that's listening to this right now, whatever age you are, if you're too old, you might be too late, but get your daughter to do it. Just get her to read chess books every day, you know? And she'll be fully encouraged if she goes to a chess club. Chess clubs at schools probably are, like, can't wait to get a girl in the chess club, right? They can't wait. That's how these things usually are in my experience. Robotics club had like one girl in it, right? She was great. She was cool. We didn't want to kick her out. You know, chess people are happy to have these things. I'm being offensive to nerds. I'm sorry. I'm going off on a tangent here. What I'm trying to say is that, truly, there's zero things preventing a girl born right now from becoming the #1 in chess. There's zero things preventing this. Yeah, she will be in a minority, right? It'll be like unusual. They'll be talking about it as it happens. If there was a woman winning chess tournaments and rising her way to the top right now, there'd probably be news stories about it, right? We'd be hearing about it. If some woman beats Magnus Carlsen, it's going to be one of the greatest moments in feminist history. It'll be like worshipped, that moment, right? But it hasn't happened. And I don't think it's because there's not a woman capable. I think it's more likely that there's not really that many women that really want to do that. There's just way more men that want to do that. That's just what it is. And then if you just have like 9 out of 10 of the people that want to be very good at chess are men, it makes sense that like 9 out of 10 of the top, like there's just like the interests that we have already are just built into us. We just have different interests like when we're born. And I believe there's science and data to back this up. I believe the data's there. It's just, it has nothing to do with sexism or misogyny. It has nothing to do with hatred of women or oppression of women. It's just a thing that happens. It's a thing that happens. It's not evil. It's not evil. No, it's just not evil. It's just not evil, right? If you want to change it, sure. Like, I don't want to, it's not that I want to stop you. I just think it's like, it's obsession on the wrong thing. It's like focusing on the wrong problem. What is the problem there, right? And then, yeah, again, I'm not just talking about chess, and that's the problem. And then I'm going right back over the video I just did. So, yeah, I think that women are perfectly capable of running things and being in any position ever that has ever existed, perfectly capable. It's just not a place where women seem to want to be as much as men seem to want to be there, right? And it's not, I'm not, man, that's what I mean. That's what I mean. For some reason, because I'm not talking about, like, what do I mean by positions, really? To me, I think about, like, the very top. It's not that men, to change it from chess, I'm getting sucked back into the topic again. It's, like, why are there things that people believe? There seems to be strange contradictions that I can't explain. Like, most people that go to jail for violent crime are men. Most people that are violent are men. Men are more violent. That's just true. And women will gladly say that. Feminists will say that. Both will say that. And I will agree with them. I think most men agree. Yeah, men tend to be more violent. Most men that are in jail, most people in jail are men. Aren't prisons like mostly men? So it's not like, yeah, you know, this is not, where's the evil? What is evil here? What is evil? What is evil? It seems like men are capable of evil. I mean, isn't that really the thing? We're all capable of evil. And yeah, every time the word oppression gets involved, I can't see it. I can't see it. I can't see it. I don't see it. I've seen what sexism looks like. Like, I think I know what that is. I think I've seen it. But also, think about what a male feminist is. Really, think about what a feminist is, and then think about what a male feminist is. What's going on with a male feminist? How often has a male told you that they're a feminist just to get laid? Has that not happened 1 million times in human history? Has at least 1 million? Since the invention of feminism, there's been men agreeing with women about it to get laid. That is 100% happening, for sure. They'll tell you that's not why, you know? And then there's always that, like, well, that reveals a lot about you, Matt Denny. You know, now we know what you're up to, you lying bastard, right? Like, that's what you're gonna say. You're gonna be like, oh, just Matt. Matt's the only one that ever has lied about being a feminist to get laid, right? Or you're gonna say, oh, only some category of men. No. I've met male feminists. I've met a lot of very liberal, very progressive, I've hung around a lot of people that believe these things, okay? And not even just to get laid. How much of agreeing with feminism is simply just because it's annoying to disagree? I'm sorry, I'm sniffling a lot. It's cold here. It's winter time. Also, smoking weed will do that to you, you know? No, I think feminism's been around a super long time. And I think people have just learned to not disagree with it because it's so fucking annoying to disagree with a feminist. It's just easier if you're in a room where there's like any number of feminists. It could just be one, but usually there's more than one, right? if you're just in that room and they just say something that a feminist says, like, oh my God, you know, I don't even want to bring it up. I don't even want to bring it up. But if you just disagree with what they believe in strongly, you are going to be eviscerated socially. It's not even fun. It's not even fun. It's more fun to be an atheist in a room with Christians, in my opinion. Like, at least with them, I feel like being an atheist is just kind of like a human stance. But when you're arguing with a feminist, I'm a guy. I already lose. I've already in the losing position because there's things I can't know. There's things I can't sympathize with. I have internalized sexism, internalized misogyny. There's like so many things that are just unblockable hits, right? Unblockable. There's zero evidence I can provide that will prove that I'm not secretly sexist or inherently something, right? That I'm not hiding something. And I always argue from an evolutionary angle, always. So I'm always just saying stuff about sex. And then, and that doesn't help me. That does not help me at all. It doesn't, because then I just get accused of, oh, you think everything's about sex. I'm like, yes, truly, everything is about sex. Everything. We're all trying to pass on our genes. And then, but the problem is, I'm also talking about the relationship between men and women, and that's a sexual relationship. Turns out we fuck each other. That's what we do. We like to fuck each other, okay? Women like to fuck men, men like to fuck women. This has always been a thing, and it will always be a thing. And just that fact affects all of our social relationships. It's not possible to have this world where you're going to have a perfect 50-50 something. That's just never going to happen. It's just, we are asymmetrical. There's an asymmetry in our bodies, in our minds, in our emotional systems, in the way we identify ourselves, in our experiences. It's just asymmetrical, you know? Nobody says it's unequal. It's actually equal and asymmetrical. I think that makes sense. That makes sense to me, right? So to look at any institution and see that it is not 50-50 and then say that that is wrong or evil is like in some way delusional, in some way, right? And that pisses off feminists when I say that stuff. It does. It does. And it's just, I can't even say it in a room because it's like painful. It's painful. I have to be alone in the woods to say this stuff. And even then, I put the video up and I get stressed out because I'm like, God damn it. Some fucking feminist is going to come here and be like, hey, this guy's being sexist. This guy's being an asshole. This guy's being misogynistic. Kill him. You know, and, you know, you'll accuse me of things. I get accused of a thing. I'm defending the patriarchy. I'm internal blah, blah, blah. I'm part of a system. I'm benefiting. I'm oppressing. Like, one thing. You got 1,000 things, right? Just hit me with all of them. Slap me in the face with all of them. Boom, 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 boom. And then I just, I'm just dead. That's what it feels like, right? And, you know, I think that, yeah, you're taught a bunch of stuff in college. You got real woke in college. Thank you. Thank you. We all love this. I love that this is how it is. This is my favorite thing, you know? I love this. I love how I'm the bad guy all the time. I'm literally always the bad guy. It's great. It's great. It's fun. It's a lot of fun. It makes me feel really good, you know? My God. I don't know if I'm even going to post this one. I don't know. I'm going to go find Dusty. There he is. See, if I sit down, he comes right over. He knows. He's a different cat when he's outside, I've noticed. When he's inside, he behaves very differently. He's always on alert out here. Always. Always. There's always something around, you know? I'm just trying to get him on screen here. There you go, Dusty. See, he's usually more relaxed. This is very tense, dusty right now. But we're deep in it, you know? There's right over there. That's that's where there'd be monsters. There'd be monsters, at least to Dusty. So he's a male cat. I don't know what that means, but he probably behaves slightly differently than the female cats. That's not unreasonable to say. If I look at a cat society and I see a pattern and I go, it's probably because of social constructs. It's probably what it is the male cats have constructed some sort of cabal where they are using I can't even do it. I mean, some of this stuff gets so deep that it's actually like I'm 31 minutes in. Why can't I just talk about what I really think this is? Which is like it is some kind of new Marxism. I don't know how else to talk about it. And I don't even think that quite describes it. I don't even think Marxism is the right word. I don't think it is. I think it's something that feels like it, or kind of looks like it, or behaves like it in some way, but it's not exactly that. I just think that that's kind of in the right direction. Like, I think that there's something happening here, and it has to do with social media. It has to do with all of the things that have happened. We are in unprecedented times at this very moment. It right now is different than all of previous times. All of them. So there's something happening now that just looks different than whatever's happened in the past. We can look at the past and see what's happening possibly and draw certain parallels, different, history repeats itself, but for sure what we're living in right now is super different in a lot of ways. I think that that's hard to argue with. Inarguably, technology has just made a huge difference, right? And so I think the same social pathologies can arise over and over again, and I think we've seen some of them. I think that human societies have been rising and falling for who knows how long, right? Humans get together, they form some sort of agreement, they form some sort of storyline or a narrative that groups them together and keeps them together for some amount of time, and then they all fall eventually, so something happens to all of them eventually. And I think that these storylines we tell, these groups that we form, nations, states, all of the things, all the groups, all the communities, all the identities. Black people, right? Isn't that an identity? That's a story people are telling. It's a narrative. It's, women. I guess women. I got myself caught up here. But what I'm saying here is that identity politics, that's what identity politics is. It's just using an identity to form a group. It doesn't necessarily need to be borders. It could be anything. You can make it anything you want. You can make it people who have brown hair, people who like to wear red shirts, people who love to play soccer, right? Like I identify as an Avengers fan. Is that not an identity? There are narratives around that. There is technically an Avengers fan community that can be wielded by some narrative. We've seen this on the internet, which is changing things, like I said. And so we have these social things that happen where we get very caught up in storylines and narratives, and they just take over huge groups of people. And they cause people to behave certain ways. And we see it at little levels and big levels. And I think one of these narratives is related to feminism, and it's related to racism, and it's related to LGBT, and it's related to trans. And somehow these things are being wielded as tools. These narratives are being wielded as tools to gain political power. These narratives are actually moving the levers of politics now. This is not, that's the point. That's what they say they're doing. They're attempting to activate. They're attempting to cause social change. They are doing activism, right? Activism is being done. Levers are being pulled. Now, we can sit here and argue about what levers are good, what levers are bad, but some of them are trying to stop people from talking. That is bad. That is bad. That is always bad. There's no good guys in the world that prevent other people from talking. Nobody. Anybody who stops people from talking is bad. That is evil. I claim that is evil. Of all of the things that I've said on this channel, I've never pointed out anything that I considered evil except for this. People who stop others from expressing themselves are evil. They are the bad guys. No matter where you are in history, that's the bad guys. So, what is that which cancels? What is that? Who are the people trying to shut people up? It's the people that activate on behalf of feminism, racism, LGBT. Those are the people. They're the ones who are doing this thing. They have taken over the left, the blue team. They seem to be most of the blue team sometimes, although I think they're really only like a very small percentage of people. Somehow, a very small percentage of people are controlling a larger percentage of people, and I think it's because you get in this room with feminists, and it's so fucking painful. It's like, everybody knows how bad it is to disagree with feminists. It's the worst thing ever. And the internet has somehow multiplied this effect. You know, there's like something they're wielding outsized power for their group size, right? And it's not just the feminists, it's like the woke people, right? There's people who are woke. And they believe these things about patriarchy and about systemic racism and about internalized homophobia and heteronormativity and about transphobia and the all this stuff. And they invent storylines about white supremacists. You know what I want to say? The next person to run for the Republican office, if it's not Trump, the person who runs in 2024 is a white supremacist. That person's racist. 100% guaranteed. Absolutely that person's racist. Absolutely. Why do you think they're accusing them of racism? It's because we have these woke idiots running shit. That's why. And they seem to have, like, in the same way that Trump has consumed the red team, it seems like this woke ideology has consumed the blue team. I don't know which blue team members don't believe this stuff, and it's very difficult to pick out which one's which, because nobody wants to speak their mind, because you got these idiots on the left who are trying to stop people from speaking their mind. Look at channels that get banned, like Vanessa Vokey. Why the hell did she get banned? Why? Why? She didn't do evil, right? Look at her channel. Did she commit evil? Why was she banned? Because the evil people are doing the banning. The people who are trying to shut you up are doing the banning. Those are the evil people. If you're a Democrat, or if you're on the blue team, or if you like Biden, or if you hate Trump, you need to separate yourself from the woke people. You have to do this. You have to do this. It's for the good. It's for the good, for the sake of the country, for the sake of the world. Please stop listening to people that talk about patriarchy. Stop listening to people that talk about racism and systemic racism. Like, they are talking about real things, for sure. They're using real bits of data in their storylines, in their narratives they're telling. They're using real bits of data. You know who else uses real bits of data? Alex Jones. Alex Jones uses real video, real evidence to back up his storylines. We don't respect that guy, do we? Do we? God damn it. God damn it. For fuck's sake. Stop. You know, women got the right to vote. There's been some other issues. But the 50-50 split is nonsense. The demand for a 50-50 split is nonsense. We must see this. The demand for this is nonsense, okay? A lot of the claims of systemic racism are also nonsense. Also nonsense. These political groups have gained too much power. They've gained too much power. They're ruining everything. There are other things we can solve here. You know, there's other things we can solve. I got myself all wound up again. That's the point of this channel. That's the point of this channel. Dusty's hiding under a tree. Yeah, I've said it 1,000 times. I consider myself liberal. Liberal. I think all people are equal. I think all humans have divine value. The divine spark that was created by God, or whatever you want to call it, is inside of each of us. We're all of inherently equal value, okay? That's it. That is it. That's the thing. Everything else that I believe revolves around that, okay? Everything. Why do you think I support universal basic income? Wow. Universal basic income. Why do you think I support UBI? It's because it treats all human beings as if they're perfectly equal. It is not racist. It's not sexist. It's none of the things, right? It's a perfect answer in a world where... Now I'm on UBI again. UBI again. Go check out a different episode for UBI. there's people who call themselves liberals need to get their fucking minds separated from these other ideas. Separate yourself from these other ideas. Please, please. Join the Forward Party after doing so, or stay on the Democrat team. I don't care. I really don't care. Just these ideas drive me crazy because, again, it's religious. It is a religion. There's some religion that is formed. It's like either religion or some sort of political ideology that's obsessed with identity, obsessed with it. It's focused to, and the problem is they're using real identities, right? Like women really exist, black people really exist, people of color, whatever you want to call it. You know, these people really exist. There really are gay people, but they're just, the problems are treated so, there's so many anti-truths, right? It seems like their behavior ends up being exactly what they don't like. To me, the Me Too movement was actually incredibly sexist against men and women. To me, BLM and a lot of the rhetoric that comes around these anti-racist people is super racist, and not just to white people, but also to black people. It's racist to both types of people. It's like a new thing it's like spinning reality around in a circle somehow. It's like an anti-truth. It's weird. It's insane. It's not a lie. They're using real things, real facts and data everywhere, but the narrative that they construct is somehow anti-true. It's like, it's not just wrong. It's like quite in the opposite direction of truth. And I think it's so precisely stacked up like the wrong direction that you just can't see it. And it's like, and you know, people don't believe in God anymore, so they got to have something that's God. And so I think this weird thing just fills the spot of God, right? And I'm not saying people that are theistic can't be woke. You know, I'm not saying that, but it's the feeling I get when I argue with these people is exactly the same feeling I get when I argue with people who are religious. So people don't like when you poke them in the axioms. They don't like it. They don't like it. It's as if you're pulling logs out of a raft and they're about to drown. That's how they react. That's how they react. People don't like that. They don't like that. You know, and what can I do about it? Not a whole lot. Make a YouTube channel that'll probably get banned at some point. Probably by these people, because I'm just saying stuff. I think woke people are misguided. You know, I'm not gonna say they're evil. A lot of them are friends. I've had people stop talking to me over some of this because I have gotten very intense about it recently. Right after the pandemic, mostly, because the pandemic freaked me out. I was like, holy shit, the world is not what I thought it was. It was an eye-opening moment. You know, why do you think I'm out here? I was right in the middle of LA, and I decided, fuck that. I cannot live there anymore. I can't. I know other people can. I know, but I do not have the temperament that is required to withstand the daily. You know, I can't do it. I can't do it. Especially when it seems to be. I can't go further down the conspiracy hole here. I can't. It's such a small group of people, and that's the thing. It's not even like I don't even know if it's more than 1 out of 10 people. It's like 10% or less people, I think. The way that I see it. The people who are like woke, right? I think it's like 1% of the human population, maybe. Somewhere in the 1% range. I would be surprised if it was 10% or higher. I'm not saying it's impossible, but it would surprise me. Because I don't know how you define woke. Like, I don't know who believes this and who doesn't. But I've run into the true believers. I have met the true believers. They're rare, but they exist, and they will annihilate you. They will destroy you the same way that a very devout Christian person would destroy you for saying something that's going to make you go to hell, basically. Or get her to go to hell, even worse. Or him. In my experience, it's always a her. You know, I was on the airplane. This is a story that's actually directly relevant to that, and which I was going to tell in a different video, but it's kind of a funny story. I was getting off the airplane. So first of all, I'm on the airplane next to a woman, right? She's sitting to my left. I'm on the window seat, and I have my laptop open, and this is where I watched What If, the Marvel series. Brilliant series, I think. I'm going to watch it again. But yeah, so I don't know if this has anything to do with what she did next. It might. We were walking off the plane, and she was right in front of me, right? Because we get out of the plane, She was walking down the aisle right in front of me, and then we got onto that ramp that leads you back to the terminal, you know, that little hallway, the little outdoor hallway thingamabob. And then she dropped something that was like a business card, right? Like, and I was right behind her, so I was like, oh, shoot, and I grabbed it, I picked it up, and I was like, hey, excuse me, you know, and I tried to give it back to her, right? She kind of like walked to the end of the hallway thing, and so we're kind of out in the terminal, you know. She like made me wait to get out there, and then I go to hand it back to her, and as I look down and she like takes it from me, the business card on the other side of it has this, you know, little Jesus picture there, right? One of these, you could definitely tell it was Jesus immediately. I don't know how to describe it. It was just the whole side of the card was covered with a bright picture of like one of those paintings of Jesus, right? One of those classical paintings, and it was very hard to miss. And in that moment, you know, I was like, oh fuck, because I know what this is. I've been hit by this before. This is an attempt to save me from whatever. I'm going to hell. Jesus has to save me. It's her job to save me right now. And she immediately said, I said, oh, you dropped this. Oh, what did she say? She said something, she said, oh, did I? That's how she responded. She said, oh, did I? And then, I don't remember what I said, but then she says, you want to talk about it, right? She basically requested that we talk about what was on the business card. I don't remember exactly how she did it. But then she walked away, like briskly, because I was like, no, hells no. I said, no, I don't want that. No. Because I know that conversation will lead only to argument, because I'm not the type of person, I will disagree with her. I'll be like, no, I don't think I don't think I need to follow whatever you're about to tell me in order to go to heaven, right? Maybe I'll give her a chance. Maybe I'd listen to a few sentences, but most likely at some point she's going to say something where I have to be like, no, I don't really know about that, right? I have to say that. I can't just sit there and lie to her and be like, yeah, of course, yeah, I'll do all this, and then I leave. Like, that's not me. I'm not that temperamentally. If somebody's telling me something, I don't, you know, I'm disagreeable. I'm very disagreeable, okay? I disagree with people. Quickly, freely, often. You know, I'm not agreeable. I'm not somebody that goes along with a thing, you know, just cuz, or just to like make my life easier or your life easier. I'm not, it's, you know, it makes me, I'm not saying it's a good quality, but I would disagree with this woman and it would just turn into a shit, basically, very quickly. And it's because I would start saying things that will just poke at whatever fundamental belief set she has that is so powerful that it has encouraged her to, you know, basically attempt to convert a stranger. Like, who do you know that would attempt to convert somebody's mind who they've really never met before, and who would kind of like be driven to do that other than these people that are so activated about racism and sexism? You know, to me, it's like that same type of person. It's not everybody. There's a lot of people who don't give a single fuck. But there's like some small percentage of people who love this thing. They get sucked into it and then they love to spread it. And it provides them power, especially now. Especially now. It provides you a lot of power. Like individually in a room at a party, provides you power. But also, as we've seen culturally now. Culturally, it's everywhere. Every company has put the black square on Instagram. Every company did the black BLM logo thing. Every company did the pride flag at some point. All of the companies have done something women, you know, something feminism. They've all done this stuff. Every company, all the institutions, they have like every large scale institution other than Fox and other than things that are like specifically conservative has sort of said, yes, we agree with you. Yes, we agree with you. Because they're basically stuck in a room with a feminist and it's just painful to disagree. I think that's what's going on. You know, that's like my diagnosis of reality right now. And, you know, I'm not saying I'm right about everything. I could be completely wrong about some of the stuff that I've said. But this is my perspective. I'm just expressing, you know, don't watch the videos if you don't want to be like that person who unsubscribed, basically. You don't have to watch my videos. I'm just saying stuff out loud. That's all I'm doing. Just saying it, putting it on the internet. Okay, I should wrap this up. It's still Tuesday, it's still Wednesday, December 29th, 2021. Have a happy Wednesday. Nah, that was too cheesy. Have a happy Wednesday.